A religious fanatic marries a gullible widow whose young children are reluctant to tell him where their real daddy hid $10,000 that he had stolen in a robbery in the 1955 groundbreaking horror genre film directed by Charles Laughton, starring Robert Mitchum, Shelley Winters, and Lillian Gish, The Night of the Hunter.
Look at here. You know what that is? You want to see something cute? Now, looky. How about that? This is what I use on meddlers. John might be a meddler. Ah, no. No, little lamb, don't touch it. Now, don't touch my knife. That makes me mad. Makes me very, very mad. Now, just tell me, where's the money hid?
But I swore I promised John I wouldn't tell.
John doesn't matter!
The horror genre was relatively young in 1955, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people who are questioning whether or not this movie was horrifying for its time or if it remains horrifying. And the answer to that, in my perspective, is that there's a lot of movies, horror movies nowadays, that could learn a thing or two from this movie. The uniqueness that comes out of it really, to me, is in the way that it's told. And the perspective that the movie is told is through the point of view of the children, which really brings out a nightmarish quality of trying to escape from something that just keeps following you. This is told beautifully through imagery, the cinematography, and just the daunting character of Harry Powell, played by Robert Mitchum. For anybody who's a film buff, there is the love and hate monologue that he gives, where he has the words love and hate tattooed across his knuckles, and he gives you this powerful and just horrifying story about left hand, right hand, using it as a biblical reference. There are a lot of moments in this movie that, if you were to look at it from a film perspective, being in 1955, which I don't like to do because to say that the movie was scary for its time is kind of, I think, an insult to the movie itself. It's pretty terrifying for all times, and I think it's something that you don't see very often, which is just the constant endangerment of children, which is really uncomfortable to watch. You have moments where children are held up at knife point, and their lives are just totally threatened by this really daunting character. It really invokes an emotional response that's quite uncomfortable, and I think that if you enjoy that discomforting feeling, that you will really like this movie. The film's director, Charles Laughton, which if any of you who know your actors, Charles Laughton was a very talented actor from the 1930s and 40s, and this is his first and only film that he's ever directed. And I think what a lot of people are saying, looking back, is that it's a tragedy that he didn't direct more, because a lot of its enduring features are because of Charles Laughton's direction, and he does a magnificent job turning this experience into almost a nightmare. And I think that's where the movie gets a lot of its uniqueness from, is that it's told from that perspective, and you really get that. And I think that it's a nightmare that we all can relate to as from our childhood. I'm not going to get into a psychological spat here, but it's something that I think we could all relate to. Having said that, I think the remainder of the film's genius comes from Robert Mitchum's performance. It's just... Sheesh, how do I talk about it? Robert Mitchum was a very imposing-looking actor, and he really plays upon that in this movie. He's very charming when he needs to be, but when all the doors are closed, you just see this horrifying person. And what's so terrifying from the children's perspective is that they know who this person really is. It's just nobody will believe him because of how charming he is around other people. And it's such a believable performance that you would think that this person is so nice. And I think that's what really adds on to the horror of it, is that this is a really three-dimensional character who's not all about blood and guts. He's got an objective. He wants that $10,000. And he will put on that pretty face to get it. There are several moments in the film where you see Harry Powell as almost subhuman creature, because his persistence, he just won't give up. And I think it really just adds layer after layer about what makes this character so memorable, so imposing, so terrifying. It's really amazing. It's not often that you see a horror movie that is so successful largely because of the performance of one actor. Post your thoughts in the comments what you thought of The Night of the Hunter. I'm assuming that you're one of those people who thought that The Night of the Hunter was good, and not just good for its time. And if you're not, well, it is what it is. That's all I got. That's pretty much it.